So, what if I told you that getting wealthy isn't really about working harder? What if it's about thinking differently? We're not going to talk about budgets or stocks today. No, we're going way deeper. We're going to explore that invisible script that controls your financial life and, more importantly, how you can rewrite it for abundance.
I mean, just let this sink in. Stop chasing wealth and start attracting it. This one phrase is a massive shift in how we think about money. See, most of us are taught to chase it, right? We're on this hamster wheel, always running, but somehow never getting any closer. But what if? What if you could become a magnet for it instead? How in the world do we actually make that happen?
Well, to understand how to attract wealth, first, we have to get really honest about where most of us are right now. And that's stuck in what feels like this constant, stressful race. It has a name, the money chase.
Does this feel a little familiar? You know, that exhausting cycle of working harder and harder, only to feel like the finish line just keeps moving further away. You pay one bill and boom, another one pops up. This isn't just bad luck, you guys. It's actually a symptom of a very specific mindset.
And here it is. This is the name for that feeling, the scarcity mindset. It's so much more than just a thought. It's like an operating system running in the background of your brain, constantly whispering that there's never enough. And it forces you to see every single financial decision as this big battle for survival. It's the source of the chase, and it's definitely the source of the stress.
Okay, this really lays out the two different paths we can take, right? On the one hand, you've got the scarcity path. It's all driven by fear. You're chasing money, and before you know it, money becomes your master. But on the abundance path, everything flips. Money becomes your servant. It's a tool that you control. Fear gets replaced by a focus on opportunity. So the big question is, how do we build a bridge from one side of this chart to the other?
Building that bridge starts with a really crucial turning point, a powerful reframe that could honestly change everything for you. And it all begins with this simple idea. It's not your fault. Just let that sit there for a second. Think about all the stress, all the guilt that comes from believing that you're just bad with money. But what if that whole story you've been telling yourself, what if it's just not true?
Because here's the truth. This isn't a character flaw. It's an educational gap. I mean, think about it. No one is born knowing how money works. It is a learned skill. And the lessons that most of us picked up, usually without even realizing it, were lessons in scarcity, not in abundance.
Just think back for a second. You know, the casual comments about money you heard your parents make, the financial stress you might have felt in your home when you were a kid. All of that stuff becomes your unconscious programming. It's like you've been following this invisible rule book your whole life without even knowing it. But here's the most powerful part. Any rule book can be rewritten.
So, if we can rewrite the story, how do we actually do it? Like, where do we even begin? Let's get practical and map out the actual path to get you to abundance.
Okay, so the whole journey really boils down to these 3 steps. First, you've got to acknowledge the old story you've been living. You have to see it for what it is. Second, you take one small, tangible action to prove a new story is possible. And that's where this Freedom Fund comes in. And third, you consciously practice shifting your focus from what you lack to what you can attract day in and day out.
Now, a Freedom Fund is not just another savings account, okay? It is a psychological tool. Putting even $5 into a dedicated account does something really profound. It starts to train your brain. You're sending a powerful message to yourself that says, hey, I have money that is for freedom and opportunity, not just for survival. That one little act starts to dismantle years and years of scarcity programming. It's a game changer.
So, after we start rewriting our story and we've got our Freedom Fund going, where does this path ultimately lead? Well, it leads to the final, and honestly, the most powerful goal of all. This right here, this is the whole point. When money is your master, you work for it. Your life, your stress, your decisions, they're all dictated by money. But when money becomes your servant, it works for you. It becomes a tool that you use to build the life you actually want to live. And that, my friends, is the true meaning of financial abundance.
So, at the end of the day, the power is in your hands. You've seen the old limiting story, and you've seen the new, abundant one that's totally possible. So really, the only question left to ask is this: what money story will you choose to write, starting today?